All right, Blitz is standing by. Do we want to go to him, or do we have to do anything else?
There,
let's
go to him.
Get Blitz.
Yeah.
There he is.
Welcome to the madness. What's up? Look at this. I got a Jersey medal on, too. Our buddy Alan Tecchio. Little love for Alan.
Only 56 days. What's up?
How you been, man? It's been a little bit.
You know, I was just watching a little bit of the show. I've been my ex-wife's number 2 for a long fucking time. Who's your number 2?
Well, as long as you weren't number 2 when you were married to her.
Jim DJ'd that wedding, didn't he? And look how that turned out.
Listen,
I was at that.
Say something about it, but it always comes up. We'll just say it as quickly as possible. It was iconic. I was the only one laughing at the end, and it was just it was probably the first step to divorce on day one of the union.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was doing comedy like 6 months ago. Do a comedy set, and I had 6 minutes and 3 minutes of rape jokes with kids. And they're like, "It's a wedding. What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is all I got. You guys want me to do comedy?"
My aunt threw up, and she.
What's great is I didn't know Jim then, but I was a guest at that wedding. Right. Jim DJ'd at it, and Blitz. I don't know if you're okay with me telling this story, but that ex-wife of yours, she was. Do I have it right that she was a dancer?
Yes, she was very talented.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if Blitz. This is a long time ago. I don't even know if you know this story, but this was one of my favorite stories ever. That wedding was outdoors. I remember it was outside. Yeah. It was very hot. It was very hot. And we all were wearing, I was with the guys, George and Mike, who were managing Overkill, ran L'Amour's, and we're all wearing our suits from the ceremony, and the reception's outside, and we're all sweating. So we're all trying to loosen the ties and open the shirts because it's outside, it's hot. And your ex-wife, I can't remember her name.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But so she was running around every time. I'm with George and Mike, 2 Brooklyn, Staten Island, L'Amour's guys, and they keep opening their shirts, and she would keep running around and telling us, no, keep your shirts on, keep your clothes on, button up, because we still got to take pictures. You can't. And they're like, so after she came over the 3rd time when they tried to loosen their ties, George or Mike looks at her and goes, "Hey, not for nothing. You take your clothes off for a living. We're fucking taking our clothes off, all right?" That's my biggest memory at the wedding.
I am blushing on the inside now, man. I never knew that story, and it is just amazing this many years later. I mean, it was back in the 50s, I think. It was during the Eisenhower.
I know.
They're elbowing me going, "Yo, Ed, get a load of this. She's telling us to keep our clothes on. What does she do for a living?" It's dying.
It was a marriage made in narcissistic bliss. And
yeah,
I like it. Guy in a rock band and a titty dancer, I mean, and it was just, and she was a great girl. I mean, don't get me wrong. Many of them are not, but she was fantastic, and good for her that she had some scruples and morals that I had no idea about.
All right, Blitz, good talking to you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. You pulled me out here to embarrass me. I'm like, man. I'm blushing all through the whole thing.
I loved it because I knew her, and then she brought all of her hot dancer friends to the wedding. So I'm like, "This is beautiful."
Yeah,
you're jamming Jim, DJ.
Oh, yeah.
People put funny money in the wedding envelopes.
I know.
You wouldn't believe how many singles I had.
I know Blitz. She paid me in singles at the end of the night.
Blitz, how are you, man?
I promised myself I wouldn't talk about the wedding once Don contacted me to hop on, And I said, I'll just say, if somebody says something, I'll say something quick and then just jump out. But this is probably the farthest I've gone with, the Three Stooges with regard to
We wear that with honor.
Yes.
Hey, Scorched, man. Killer. I know you just came off the road, and we were talking earlier. You just played with Metallica in the parking lot, which I was out of town when that happened, but everyone told me you had a crazy crowd out there, and that was a really awesome scene. Tell us about that.
Well, they had the whole, so like, unless you had a ticket, the whole thing was just, it was outlined by Porta Johns. There was 2,000. There was the whole back was all fucking Porta Johnies. I'll send you the picture. And it was I don't know how many people. It was way more than 2,000, that's for sure.
I heard 4. Somebody told me it was like 4,000.
It was approximately 100 yards deep, and it was approximately a football field we were playing. So I don't know what you could fit in there. I've heard different numbers, and everybody speculated, but it was full. It was fun. It was good to be part of. I mean, parking lot or no parking lot. I mean, I got inside and got to eat with the Metallica crew. They feed them okay, But it was, they had a turkey carver at noon, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But it was a good time. I mean, it was a good time. And I did say, though, after the third song, I got to, I thanked them for having us on there. I did say, just quite simply, I said, listen, they may have started this in San Francisco, but they had to drive 3,000 fucking miles east to get signed. And Johnny Z's daughter was sitting there in the photo pit, and she lit up like a light bulb with all the teeth. So, good time.
So, Blitz, did you get to see the Metallica guys? Did you hang with them? Did you stay for the show?
No, I didn't. We all were coming. We just come off the road, and we were all we were trying to fight COVID, and we were trying to keep people away from us, and then and simultaneously we were going to go to Europe like a day and a half later. And ended up being canceled because 3 more guys got it, and then it was just, and it wasn't just one of those little easy flu kind of things. It was bedridden, and a couple of guys were, they were just a mess. So it canceled the other stuff. So I didn't. I went home and just head on the pillow and ice on the chest.
I hate to say this, man, but I'm real concerned because. The COVID was like a thing of the past, but all of a sudden, I know 3 people with it now currently, and it's like that. We don't need this thing infiltrating the music again and taking tours down, but it's sounding like it's something starting to happen again a little bit.
Well, it wasn't easy, I've had it in the past where it's nothing, you have a sniffle, you have a fever, you know what it is, you test yourself, you go, I just won't go give it to somebody, And I swear to God, I thought I had somewhere between pneumonia and a sinus infection, and I'm like, I gotta get better for this Metallica thing. And then I think I got home, and a day later, Jason was like, I got COVID. I'm like, oh fuck, I never even thought of this, And then then it was a testing, and then we went through. There was like 5 guys in the band and crew, a ton of guests. That we had seen in Long Island, and prior to that, and obviously nobody knew, you know what I mean? Nobody could figure out who patient 1 was, and who gives a rat's. Right. But it wasn't pleasant. It was a little bit more than that sniffle and who cares that I had 6-8 months ago.
Right. So, Bobby, how long a set did you have, and were you able to squeeze in some of the newer stuff, or did you just go out there and throw out the old school stuff for the Jersey crowd?
No, us for years, we're really proud of the fact that, our new stuff is still relevant, that we still have a vital heartbeat this long. We may be the graybeards, but, you still put that with, I'll show you how to get the fuck off my lawn, and I'll show you how this is done, but that's a good time for us. So we had an hour. We threw in The Surgeon, which was the opener. That Church Bell is like one of our best opening tapes. Some guy goes, hey, they're using backing vocals. I was like,
Ed, do you have any comments?
It's not what we're talking about when we go off about tracks, not an intro tape, for God's sakes.
Yes, nuts. But in any case, we did The Surgeon, we did Wicked Place, and we did Scorched. So it was, I guess, probably 30% of the set was new stuff, and then a lot of old school stuff. Drop Power Surge in there from the old days. Yes. Some of the classics and some of the not classics. Good time.
Yeah, my friend saw it. He said it was unbelievable. A guy from Old Bridge, New Jersey, obviously, but loved it. And but said watching the park lot, it was amazing to set that day off to watch you guys and then go inside and see the rest of the bands.
And it was
It
cool.
was a nice way to kick it off, you know. It was a nice way just a little bit of extra for the kids, and especially that so many were from Jersey. That it's, for them, they obviously know us. I mean, whether they're Overkill fans or not is another question. But the fact that they're New Jersey metalheads is the majority, they know who we are, so they get the option or the experience to, to come in and get it down, hours before the Metallica show happens. So,
yeah, and
we were talking. Go ahead, Don. Sorry.
I just say quickly, I saw some of the clips online, and when you say you're playing the parking lot, I know in some people's minds they might thought, oh, they put a cone in front of a spot, and you guys like stood in a parking spot and played, but it was really set up super pro with obviously a proper stage and your backdrop and all the equipment and everything. So it wasn't this stripped down kind of thing. It really was a proper concert before the concert.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it was a small festival stage. It was probably 35 feet wide as opposed to 45 or 50, and 20, 25 feet deep. So we got our full setup there. We had enough height to use our banner. I remember doing a show out in San Bernardino that Iron Maiden was on, and Anthrax, everybody's number 2 and number 1 that you were just talking about. And we ended up playing over fucking attached to the men's room, and they had this stage coming out. I'm going, direct from the fucking toilets of San Bernardino.
Blitz, we
had a good time and made the best of it. So, but this was really a proper show.
Yeah, we were talking about before you came on. We were talking about the history of the band and how all of us have this. We all been fans and friends and all this for decades and all that. I was telling these guys a story, like, I don't even know if this was going on, but back when Rat was in the band, the original version, I started in radio. It's 40 years ago this year. And I remember Rat would be driving by. I was living at home, and he put the demo tape in the mailbox because I was doing a metal show. He'd beep the horn, he'd drive away. And just like all the history and all the changes in the band that have happened. But the reality is that the lineup of the band now, outside of Bittner, who joined, I don't know, a few years ago, but with Derek and Dave, this has been probably, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the longest running consistent lineup of the band?
Yeah, Dave is 99. Derek's a few years after that. So Dave's been with us for 24 years at this point. So, and Derek, I would assume, we don't really count Derek because
he's a Cowboys fan.
He's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, exactly. That's understandable.
Well,
I wouldn't either.
The friendship and the humor. But Derek's 21. I think he filled in for Dee in 2000 as a bass player, but I think he joined the band as a guitar player after he filled in for Dee when Dee's daughter was born. So, I mean, he came over, and we had the show, and it was like in a dance club, and there was these dudes dancing in front of him in these like skin tight, body suits. And I'm like, you've been in the band for 10 minutes. Could you knock it off?
And what about when Bittner came in? Was there any kind of, he's the newest member, is there any kind of hazing ritual with him? Because he's a fun guy to break balls with.
Yeah, we know him for a long time, Jason.
Yeah, Jason plays drums like he lives life, I mean, sometimes he's like, he's really chill, and sometimes he's a little edgy, and it's yeah. I remember we were like, I think our first gigs were overseas, Ukraine, so we're doing Kiev, obviously in 2017 or so, and then we went to Russia. And Jason, I knew the band changed in the first set at Kiev. I was like, the band just changed. You know what I mean? Because I could hear. I mean, we had practiced, but now I'm feeling it on the stage, and the whole thing's starting to move like a tank. And I think it was in Russia, in Moscow. He came downstairs. And he was like this. He was holding his mouth, covering it. And I go, what the fuck is wrong with you? He goes, I got bit by something. I got big lips. He goes to me, don't tell anybody and don't make fun of me. I said, you just told the wrong man. So that was like show 2. So from there, the game was on, if you know what I mean. I told everybody right there. Everybody had an announcement to make before they get the bus.
You know, when you just said about lips, I gotta tell you, for this audience and this show, one of my favorite Blitz stories ever was the time you told me you were in somewhere outside. Speaking of getting sick, you were somewhere outside of America, and somebody handed you Airborne tablets that you didn't know you're supposed to put in a glass of water. You put them in your mouth like a candy, and your whole mouth started. Tell the story, Blitz. It's friggin' phenomenal.
Well, it's, you have to take this with a grain of salt. I mean, because this is based on stupidity, nothing else, and not knowing. But we were online going through security, and it was in New York. It was in Newark, so I could actually communicate with the TSA. I could follow their commands, not communicate. Get the fuck over there. But I said, man, I'm just not feeling it. And somebody goes, hey, you gotta try these Airborne things. I'm like, what are they like? Well, you take them, it's vitamin C. It knocks it right the hell out of you. I'm like, give me a couple of them. And I just dropped them right in my mouth. By the time I got up to this dude, I'm foaming like at the mouth, like I have rabies. It's like coming down my shirt. My eyes are like
orange foam coming out.
What's wrong with you, motherfucker? Nothing. I'm okay. Trying to spit them out, but I had no idea. And then I started using them that particular year regularly because they actually, to some degree, I thought they worked after that. Maybe it was just that direct kind of a thing. I suppose that's kind of like mainlining Airborne,
Right, like a tab of acid. You put it right on your tongue.
Yeah. Don't take the orange Airborne.
Good fun.
Blitz, you should have written to the company and gotten an endorsement or something for it, man. New way to take Airborne. Just drop it on your tongue.
If it was filmed, it'd be like that. It would be like that thing. The guy spent 40 years in a band. He sang all around the fucking world. He made many people happy, many people unhappy. But he's known for dropping 2 Airbornes. Turn it into ivory liquid, man. It was just like suds everywhere,
We know you just came off the road. What's next for the band? What do you guys have coming up?
Well, we're messing around with some stuff over in Jakarta. We were also talking about a second U.S. run. There's some big. It's not Hammer Sonic in Jakarta, but it's something else. There's a U.S. run that's going to come up. It's going to be East Coast, Midwest kind of a thing. Because we started the last one in San Francisco and then shot back across Texas and up the east. Something in Raquel Parque? It's in Bogota, Colombia. It's actually a state-funded metal show for all the Colombian kids. It's free. I mean, it's just like they get like 100,000 kids. Obviously, they don't all know you, but they go because it's free and it's put on by the. I suppose the local and state, affiliates of the government. We're going to do that. And then we have something also over, we play the Eindhoven Metal Meetings in December. So a tour and a half and a whole bunch of little things, till January 1st.
Blitz, what country does Overkill go over the best besides America, would you say?
Newark.
That is a country.
I felt like I was on Family Feud.
Yeah. And that's what you say when you go across the border.
Probably Germany. Probably
Germany, yeah.
That's where we did our last live endeavor, live from Overhausen. We've always had a great relationship with them. The Germans themselves love the old school. I just think they hate change. You know what I mean? That they just like that. There's new bands and there's new fans for new bands, but these people stay with it from once daddy introduces it to them till all the way, through marriage and old age. So I think probably Germany is our second best country.
Okay.
Speaking of being resistant to change, one of the things I love about Overkill is first of all, you always put out new music consistently. But also you put out full albums, you make full albums. But could you see a point, because you see a lot of bands doing it now where they're just putting out singles? Would Overkill ever get to a point where you see you guys as putting out a single here and there? Or is it just we're doing full LPs until we're done?
No, we do this. Listen, bro, I don't even have a fucking Facebook. I mean, I've resisted all that shit through all these fucking years. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want people up my fucking ass. And I make music with Dee Dee because that we have really the same philosophy about things. And when we were kids and you got Kiss Alive, you unfolded it into three things. You were buying an album. You know what I'm saying? You were buying a record. And this is the turn on for doing it this long. I mean, The fact that I think a record like Scorched is relevant is one thing. The fact that the real vinyl is coming back again, doubles that relevance in my opinion. So it's like, it's kind of like maybe it's pandering to the old school or the old dudes, but this is like, for me, it's full records or it's nothing. I mean, it was Black Sabbath Volume 4. It was, it was Unleashed in the East. It was Killing Machine or Hellbent for Leather. It was, on and on. I mean, name it. They were full fucking records. And, and that's something I'm always proud of. I mean, love them or hate them. We're proud of the fact that we've always done at least 10 fucking songs through a record. And I think that's just the way it's going to be. We're coming down the back end of the mountain. I mean, we know this shit. So is everybody else. Maybe they don't say it, but they are, Yeah. So, I mean, if you're going to go out with any kind of integrity, I mean, do it while you started to do it. And that was to make full records and the charge it gave you as a fan in that, in this genre.
Plus the sequence of the songs on the record, the order it goes in. I love that. Listen from beginning to end. What's the lead off track? What's the last track? The middle tracks, all that stuff.
The puzzle.
Hey Blitz, have you guys talked about like when you and how you would want to wrap it? Because the thing with Overkill is Overkill's not a band that can go out there and just stand still or strum a guitar sitting on a bar stool. I mean, you're known for live and the energy and the intensity of the way you guys bring it. So how are you going to know? When are you going to know that, okay, we can't stay too long at the party here. Now it's time to start to kind of phase this out. Are you the type of band that would do like a farewell tour, or would you just kind of quietly go away? And do you have a timetable?
That's hard to think about it. Obviously shit slowed down, but when shit slowed down for me on a personal level, I can say that I'm actually singing better. I'm not having any problems with my voice. It's been for at least a decade like this. I can do shows. I have no issues. I mean, obviously I can't do fucking pirouettes off of the monitors like he's gonna break a hip. I mean, you don't want to do it. I mean, you know it. Listen, I may be there. You're right fucking behind me, just so you know.
I know. Trust me, I know. I just turned 59. I know it well.
But the point is, if it's still valuable and at a high level, and I'm singing my version of, Glenn Hughes, at this fucking age, and released the 20th record in my 64th year on the face of the fucking earth. I'm ready to do this until I can't sing well, at this point. Again, no pirouettes off the monitors or backflips or, jumping into the audience. But the other guys have always brought it too, and I just think that, when it becomes unenjoyable, I mean, there's no out plan for me. I mean, the out plan is like, okay, I'm done. Close the book. And I think that that's enough. I don't think that we warrant this big, here it is, it's the last tour kind of a thing. I think that, we were the thorn in everybody's side, and that's the way we should go out too. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of guys, say the traveling is what kills them as they get older. The planes and the buses and the hotels and stuff. That's okay with you? I mean, obviously not, but I mean, that's nothing.
Well, you get sick. I mean, that's the thing. You start getting sick. Old people fucking get sick. You don't want to get sick fucking 4 or 5 times a year.
Put some Airbornes in your mouth like you did at the airport.
I never would have thought of that.
They work, but it's quicker into the bloodstream that way.
It's amazing. I should have fucking, it would have been great if I just gnarled them right up and just snorted them right up.
Hey, all right, you guys want to get to our next thing? What are we doing? This versus that, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna leave Blitz in with this.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Last thing for you, Blitz.
It's a bare knuckles, huh? All right.
So what's the better record? Metallica Ride the Lightning or Metallica Master of Puppets?
Now, well, wait. Don't answer, Blitz. We're going to let you have the deciding vote at the end. We'll start with Eddie, and we'll go down the pike here.
You're starting with me. All right.
Yeah.
So I actually did this on my radio show, and I had people call in, and the knee jerk is Puppets because Puppets was the breakthrough record and the song and all that. But actually, when I did this on the radio, Lars Ulrich called in about this, and we got into it with him. And because they're like both his kids, he wouldn't pick the records. But I called something out to his attention, which is very interesting. They actually, on a more consistent basis, play live more from Ride the Lightning than Master of Puppets. They actually represent that album more consistently in their live shows than Puppets, which is a far bigger record commercially. But when I looked at that and having seen Metallica recently and realizing how they lean on that material on Ride and what's on that record, outside of a couple things like, like Escape, which they don't like and don't like to play, that Ride actually is probably the, hate to use the word better, but the more represented classic record among true Metallica fans. So I'm going Ride the Lightning.
For me, Master of Puppets a 10. Ride the Lightning is like a 9.25. So I got to give the edge to Master of Puppets.
Yeah, it's so close. You could break this down. You can go track by track and go, okay, is this a little better than this one? This track's a 9. This one's a 9.5. And you could futz with that all day. To me, it comes down to what you mentioned, Eddie, which is the song that they admit that they're not fans of, which is Escape on Ride the Lightning. That is the one clunker on that album. Puppets has no clunkers. So just by a pubic hair, I'm going with Master of Puppets.
They both have great instrumentals, which is also an interesting thing between the two of them.
Orion's phenomenal.
Yep. Yeah, and Cthulhu. Obviously. Yeah. So go ahead, Blitz.
You set us straight.
To me, it's really simple. I mean, they created the excitement and changed the rules with Kill 'Em All, and the next step was Ride the Lightning, and it was a huge step. But the reality is that was excitement. But what made them what they are today, the first step to that was Master of Puppets, because they became better songwriters. You don't have to compare the songs. It's all about excitement to me and where it was going, and everybody was anticipating it. But you look at the title track, Master of Puppets, and it is iconically written. And they became that better band. And that's why they're head and shoulders above the rest of the crowd, is because of that third record, not because of what preceded.
I mean, the leap from record 1 to record 2 to record 3 is incredible when you think about it in terms of that growth. Just from record 1 to 2, I mean, is incredible. But yeah, then 3, yeah, I know, I get it. I mean, it's super tight.
You got to be a good songwriter. You got to be a great songwriter to have longevity. And I think Master of Puppets was that. That they didn't level off after Ride. They took it actually a step up, in my opinion, and that's why they're playing MetLife and selling 160,000 tickets. I mean, that's as simple as it is. I think that was the first step.
Yeah,
and Overkill. In now your fourth decade of playing together, we could apply the same compliment to you guys. Great songwriting, you and Dee Dee, just such a great songwriting team. And again, we talked earlier, even rotating new members in and out, the consistency of the records, always striving to make new music and still making great music. It comes down to songwriting. And man, Blitz, you've been doing it for so long, man. And I know you brought all three of us a lot of joy over the years. So thank you, man.
I'm stealing the Metallica throwaways.
The humble Blitz.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining us for this. We appreciate it,
man.
And say hi to the guys. I hope we get to hang soon. I've been all over the country myself. I missed you guys last few times you played, but I can't wait to catch a show. And everybody check out the new album, which is out now, the latest, and still thrashing their heads off. Scorch from Overkill, the latest record. Thank you, man. We'll see you soon.
My
Thanks,
pleasure,
Blitz.
boys.
See you, man.
Take
Later,
care.
buddy. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Don. Thanks for watching that clip. If you'd like to see more stuff like that, check out these clips right here. And hey, why not join up, become a member, hit that join button, and you'll get access to exclusive content. Content?